which they will observe today as the Nakba, Arabic for catastrophe. Some 700,000 Palestinians, a majority of the pre-war population, fled or were driven from their homes before and during the 1948 Arab-Israeli war that followed Israel's establishment. After the war, Israel refused to allow them to return because it would have resulted in Palestinian majority within its borders. Instead, they became a seemingly permanent refugee community that now numbers some 6 million, with most living in slum-like urban refugee camps in Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and the Israeli-occupied West Bank. We'll be speaking to Moeshfieka Botha, who's an activist. Moeshfieka, thank you so much for giving us your time, and welcome to Salam Media. A very, very, somber, commemoration of the Nakba, as it always is. But this year, it feels particularly worse because of what we're seeing unfolding in parts of Gaza, in Rafah, and in Khan Yunis.
Assalamu alaikum, shukran for having me. I think you make a very valid point in saying that it is a very somber commemoration. But we have to acknowledge it, and we have to acknowledge it year after year after year after year. And I think now more than ever, we have to acknowledge and we have to take people back, specifically those people who want to, they want to continue with the narrative that everything that is taking place now is based around the actions of what took place on the 6th of October 2023. So this commemoration this year is also just a continuation of the story and a continuation of the actual events, because facts don't lie. Facts matter. That has been taking place, and that has been the life and the existence of the people of Palestine, again going into the face of those who continue with the narrative that says that this all started on the 7th of October 2023.
And I think, usually when it comes to days like this, when you have to commemorate the Nakba, there seems to be a sense of helplessness. Especially now, I think when it comes to Palestine, there's always been a huge, amount of activism and people always rallying behind the cause, and, going out to the streets and trying to spread out the message. But again, coming to this year, or since the 7th of October, there seems to be a lot of helplessness because of just how much cruelty we've seen coming from the Israeli occupying force, just how relentless they've been, and this new tactic of just no longer being apologetic or scared about their antics. It's now a genocide. It's now an ethical cleansing of the people of Palestine, which previously we knew it was happening, but not as blatant as now. From an activist point of view, people are feeling helpless. People are feeling like we've been demonstrating, we've been going out to the streets, but nothing is changing. South Africa's gone to the ICJ and presented that case. The whole world seems to know and see, what the Israeli occupying forces are doing in Palestine and in Gaza, but nothing is being done about it. What can you say regarding that, regarding the amount of helplessness from activists and people across the world?
And I think firstly, I'd like to make the point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees, the creator, the almighty, the one in control of it all. He sees. And as he sees what is happening there, he also sees our efforts, our sincere efforts. When it comes to the helplessness, I can tell you that I feel helpless. But then we've got to remember that those people, the people of Palestine, the people who protect Masjid al-Aqsa on our behalf, the people, our brothers and sisters who are fighting, against this genocide, against mass starvation, purposeful starvation, they need us. They need us to be their voice. They need us to carry their stories. So I also think that Palestine, to me, has become the more so even now. And like you said, we've always known that there has been struggle. We've always known about the ethnic cleansing. We've known about the oppression. We've known about the aggression, because it hasn't started in 2023. Israel has been the oppressor, the aggressor, for nearly 8 decades. So what it stands for me now, Palestine is the teacher. Palestine is the teacher I never knew I needed. And I think that is also something that we need to do. We need to start incorporating Palestine into our lives. Whenever there is something for me now that stands out that says, you know what, I've got something bad in my head happening in my life. There's illness, there's death, and I look at it and I say, look at how the people of Palestine are dealing it. Look at what the people of Palestine are going through. The iman, the taqwa of the people of Palestine. I don't know if they even realize the beacon of hope, the beacon of hope that they are. So if they are our beacon of hope, we may not be hopeless.
Mm,
We may not be hopeless. We need to find deep within. We need to look deep within and say, what more do I give? Because even what I am giving, I may think that I'm giving a lot. Look at what they are giving. Look at the sacrifices that they are making. And then we look at their level of iman. We look at their level of taqwa in the destruction that they are facing. And it
mm,
should then say to us, no, we should not be feeling hopeless. We should not be saying there's nothing more that we could do. We should be looking at every single thing that is still coming up in support of the people of Palestine. Never in my life would I have thought that we would look to the US and say, wow, look at what is happening there. But look at what is happening at the campuses in the United States. Look at what is happening all over the world. Palestine is the light. Palestine is the beacon. Palestine, they wanted to erase Palestine, and
mm,
Palestine has become everyone else. The world has become Palestine, and we still have a role in playing. We have a role to play there. We have a role in promoting. We have a role in being the voice. We still have a role to play in divestment. We still have a role to play in education. One thing that I would a word that came up when we were chatting was the word that Israel is unapologetic, and they
mm,
are. They actually just don't care. I mean, yesterday we saw videos of settlers. Dismantling aid, food that was
mm,
going into Gaza. So you're like, so people of Gaza are literally being starved. Here you've got aid coming in, and you've got Zionists tearing up and disposing of the aid to children who are starving.
mm,
Um, and that is, there's no conscience, because there's no consequence. And
mm,
they are unapologetic. But therein, I have to say, that somehow I find that the hopelessness that we are experiencing now, I hope that this hopelessness does not turn into apology. I
mm,
sometimes find that creeping in, and I would like us to not do that. I am not going to apologize to anybody for my humanity. I am not going to apologize to anybody for standing up against genocide, whether it be in Palestine, Congo, Sudan, anyway. And I find that this is what people are getting into onto social media. And I would like to just caution us against that.
mm,
You know what you stand for. You know what is right. If somebody else at this stage, after we have seen truthfully through credible outlets, videos, pics, of what is happening, of schools being bombed, hospitals being bombed, children being killed, starved. I mean, what more do you want to see? If there's now somebody in your space, in your social media space, and sadly, there are many South Africans who dispute the genocide that is taking place in Palestine. They dispute the aggression and the violence, the continued aggression and violence, and they justify it. Do not let us get into that. I
mm,
am not going to get to the point where I have to explain to you. I have to explain to you why it is wrong. If at this
mm,
point in time you cannot see that Israel is the aggressor here, that genocide is happening, and that it does not matter what color, what religion, the child who is being starved is, if you cannot see that, you know what? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
mm,
I know the message that I need to put out there. I know what message needs to be put forth. I know what we've got to fight for. I know what we've got to support. I know who we've got to boycott. I know that. And those messages need to be consistent. We need not apologize in this democracy, in particular, in the South African democracy, for which people fought and died. Right now, we do not need to be apologizing for supporting those in Palestine, Sudan, Congo, and everywhere else who are going through the same.
mm. And just lastly, before I let you go, really, really powerful words there, Moeshfieka. Before I let you go, today is a Wednesday. It's the 76 years after Nakba, as we mentioned. How should ordinary South Africans commemorate this day from an activist point of view? What should we be doing? What actions we should be taking? To further show our solidarity with the people of Palestine and to further spread the message and preach to those that are unconverted. As you mentioned, people that still think there's no genocide that's happening, and people that still can't accept that Israel is and has been for the last 76 years an aggressor and an occupier in Palestine.
For those who can be at the marches, be at the rallies, show up, support matters. But if you cannot physically be at the marches, be part of the education programs, be part of the awareness programs, do not get disheartened. Do not get disheartened. The people of Palestine need our du'as. The people of Palestine need our support. Keep on posting. Even it's sad. I mean, and quite laughable. If I put a post out and it just doesn't get acknowledged, you know what?
Mm,
Keep on, keep on. It will get through. If it gets through to one person, it's one person more. But again, do not apologize. Do not be apologetic. Do not be apologetic, and do not let the narrative of, yes, but it's happening in our own country. Why are we not seeing to things here? Why are we supporting the people of Palestine and not the people on the Cape Flats, not the people in the other sectors of South Africa? I don't know where those people are coming from, because those of us here on the ground, we have been supporting the people on the Cape Flats for a long time, and we can do it all. We have the humanity, we have the heart. People in Palestine right now do not have a hospital, they don't have a school, they do not have medical personnel, they do not have food.
mm,
And we should not change our narrative. We should not lessen our hearts. We should be standing tall. We should be walking proud with this message that we support unapologetically the people of Palestine on this day and every other day.
mm. I think we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much, Moeshfieka, for those wise and powerful words. And I really, really appreciate you giving us your time. We're going to let you go for now. And really, really appreciate you. And I'm sure we'll chat in the so distant future.
Everything of the best. Have a lovely day further, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
I mean, that was Moeshfieka Botha, an activist, and echoing very, very powerful words. And yeah, man, to all those people that are saying, "Well, we have problems in South Africa. Why are you not speaking out against them, but you're speaking, out for the people of Palestine?" Well, guess what? You're the one that has not been talking about the issues that are affecting South Africans. There are South Africans who are vocal, like Moeshfieka out there, advocating for the rights of the Palestinian people, but equally advocating and speaking out against the injustices, with regards to the Cape Flats and all the calamities that are happening in that part of the world. So simple. You can walk and talk at the same time. You can be advocate for two causes at the same time. And those that are real activists have been doing the same. And if sitting somewhere and saying, yeah, well, we have problems in South Africa, well, then maybe you're the one that's not been, talking about the issues and the problems that we're facing in South Africa, and only waking up now to speak out against, the cause and support for the Palestinian people for your own selfish, racist agendas. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're still sticking with the theme of the Nakba, 76 years of the Nakba, and we'll be speaking to Palestinians, people that are, in the heart, of the storm, people that are, can tell us firsthand experiences of, the 76 years of Israeli occupation on Palestine and how it has impacted them. We're going to be speaking to Ahmed Al Jarda, who's in Jenin currently, and he'll be giving us a bit more insight on how they view the Nakba 76 years on, and we'll be speaking to him after the break.